All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awfully Silly. I am Conception. I'm the host of the show. Very happy to be here this evening. The last show that I'm going to be doing before GDQ, and I just can't wait. I'm just buzzing with excitement here. Before we get started in tonight's show, of course, we just want to go over a few announcements of things that are going to be coming up here soon. Namely, as I already alluded to, Summer Games Done Quick. It's coming up June 26th through July 3rd. Prize submissions are now open. If you would like to submit prizes, you can go on over to gamesdonequick.com for some more information on that. In addition to that, we also have Flame Fatales having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, in late August. If you're interested in that, go ahead and type !FF in the Twitch chat, or you can go to gamesdonequick.com/Flame Fatales for more information on that. I highly suggest checking that out. Those events are always incredible. Your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support this weekly hotfix content that we do. So please consider supporting our daily content, which starts most weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoy these hotfix shows, we really appreciate it. If you are someone who would like to catch some of our highlights from our various hotfix content, we do have a highlight channel. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ Hotfix shows, and you can use !highlights in chat to learn a little bit more about that channel and get access to it. There are some really good videos there too, so I highly suggest you checking them out. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, go on over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content. As we mentioned, starts 7 p.m. Eastern on weekdays and 1 p.m. Eastern on weekends. And finally, stay tuned. Right after the show, we have That's Never Happened Before, which is going to be a speedrun show that breaks down glitches and speedruns. And tonight, I believe they're focusing on Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And you can tune in tomorrow, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, for Random Number Generation, which is a show that features randomizer and randomizer adjacent content, followed by Aimbot, a show that features FPS and shooter-based speedruns. So you'll definitely want to check out all those shows. But for now, I think it's time we start diving into tonight's programming, which is it's a jam-packed show. The theme, as you can see in the title, it's going to be based on kids shows, and we have a legendary run to start the night off, which is going to be Goosebumps Dead of Night by Nico Hart. But Nico Hart, I don't think you're going to be running this like in a normal way. What do you think?
I would love to tell you the unconventional methods of this speedrun. So I guess I should do the introductions, I guess. So Conception, thank you very much for the lovely words there. And guys, thank you very much for having me on as well. My name's Nico Hart, and I'm going to be doing this with a steering wheel today. So this is Pal Dizzy. Pal Dizzy is my friend, and he is your friend too. He just turned 2 days ago. So this steering wheel here, Pal Dizzy, is going to drive us through Goosebumps Dead of Night. Now, Goosebumps Dead of Night is a fantastic iteration of the Goosebumps franchise. Was meant to be in line with the actual movie that came out in 2018, but after delays and stuff like that, came out 2020. We're going to go more into it as well, but I am joined by my friend and commentator, Nidal, if you wanted to introduce yourself as well.
Hey, hope everybody's ready for a scare. Goosebumps Dead of Night is a game that's very near and dear to both me and Nico. I think we both contributed a lot. We probably have the most hours of anybody on Steam in this game, which is kind of embarrassing. But
honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, we still have yet to get this on the Switch, so you never know. Actually,
that's true.
But it's kind of like talk about like what we're actually doing here as well. So we are doing the any percent. Obviously, this is technically the unconventional percent, but we are doing it as a any percent route. So that does feature glitches. Yes, we are able to do some special major glitches on the wheel. It is not easy, but we'll be showing you one which is called the box fly throughout the second half of this. For the second third of this run. I'm trying to think if there's anything else if we need to talk about it right now. Jack Black voices in this as well, believe it or not. He's supposed to voice R.L. Stine. So the long kind of short story is that Jack Black is trying to save Jack Black from Jack Black. I think that's right, isn't it?
Yeah, Jack Black voices both the protagonist and the antagonist in this game. So Jack Black is going to tell us how to save Jack Black from Jack Black by stopping Jack Black, or it's something along those lines. But
I'm gonna
yeah,
need a whiteboard and loads of drawings to try to figure that one out. Cool. So I think with all of that, if you're cool with running through with a little bit of like the intro, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's goose it up, shall we? So,
Yeah.
the time will start. Let's do it at the point of after the Cosmic Forces logo. So I'll count for time. I'll say immediately time if the tech is all good for that. Here is the intro cutscene. Basically, Orestein or Jack Black is going to get warped into typewriter. Slappy's going to like spawn all the monsters of like the nightmare of blah 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 blah. I've forgotten the name of the actual story. And then Twist, a random kid who just goes into Orestein's mansion, is like, "Oh, I'm here now. Oh boy, I'm here now." And that's pretty much it. So, time will start now. All right, Niddle, please take it away.
Yeah. So this is Goosebumps Dead of Night. It's a first-person game, although there is a mobile version that's kind of like a click venture, although it's a lot less fun to speedrun. So you're going to notice immediately, Nico is going to be strafe running everywhere. Similar to Doom, we strafe run for speed in this game. This game was coded in Unity. It has a good bit of Unity jank which it's good and bad. First thing you're going to see is we're going to grab this book, Night of the Living Dummy, and this is actually Slappy's book, and we're going to head over to the sarcophagus, and this is for a specific skip, which allows us to avoid a cutscene where we're introduced to this graveyard ghoul.
Watch the boxes, by the way.
We affectionately named Gwen. Yeah. And poof. So you're going to see Nico crouch here. This is just to avoid aggro, because the graveyard ghoul is attracted to footsteps. You may have noticed he just went into the menu for a second there, and that's to do a retry. There's a few retries, and they basically put you in spots ahead of where you were. So because of how the checkpoints work, we can actually abuse those a good bit to get in places faster than it would normally take. So we picked up a key. We're gonna head into this room. We have to collect 10 pages, a la Slenderman, and in order to do that, we're gonna be traversing all around the house. Now there's a lawn gnome attack.
The gnomes are the biggest pain, by the way, because we have to get the key gnome, or the gnome with the key. And they like to go any old direction. Here comes the RNG. Now, see, wait, right there. Ooh, that was really good, actually.
That was really good. So,
once we've now got that key, we still got to get a few more pages as per, like, the certain routing. Different routings means we could do different things. Once we've done that, it's time to get to the door, and we're presented with Slappy. Fun fact, if you're doing this on the keyboard and mouse, you can actually skip this whole entire cutscene of Slappy. Would you like to explain why, Niddle?
Yeah, sure. On keyboard and mouse, also, clown warning. On keyboard and mouse, we could do a glitch called hitbox displacement, where we basically move our character's hitbox outside of the camera, and you can use that to get through doors and stuff like that. Unfortunately, due to how the steering wheel works, it's not really viable.
ISG gets
perfect. There you go.
So, infinite sprint glitch. Basically, once you've exhausted the dialogue and you have the sprint bar showing that it has depleted, they kind of cancel themselves out so you get infinite sprints. That's kind of like the explanation of it, basically.
Yeah, something about how MP3s play for dialogue. If you happen to be exhausted at the end of the dialogue playing, it just lets you sprint forever. So we call that ISG, which is kind of a riff on the Legend of Zelda Infinite Sword glitch. But obviously ours is just infinite sprint glitch. And now we're here for the piano cutscene, which is another cutscene that could be skipped, but the steering wheel makes it kind of impossible. We'd have to abuse Pal Dizzy, which we don't want to do.
No. We look after Pal Dizzy.
Yeah.
So what we would normally skip if we were on King Mouseboard is this wolf over here, the big bad wolf, which is kind of like very true to the nature of like kids' tales and stuff like that as well.
Oh right.
Oh my god, I got lucky there.
Yeah. All the monsters and stuff are references to Goosebumps stories. So a few quick retries, and we have all 10 pages, and we're ready to go downstairs. The gnomes were stealing our pages basically the whole time. But it doesn't really matter, because every time you retry, you get back all the pages that you've collected. So it was kind of moot. And then another quick retry, and we're heading into the first boss fight. Very RNG dependent.
I hate this bit so much.
Yeah. I'm going to try and take over so Nico can focus a little bit. So the goal here is we have to throw lawn gnomes at Slappy. There's two kinds of lawn gnomes. There's the red ones, which you see have little garden forks, and first hit right there. And then there's the yellow ones, which don't aggro, just run away.
I was crouched that whole time. I realized, why am I moving slow? And Slappy sounds right there right behind me. That's why.
I thought that was a new strat.
No, I was crouched. I did a stupid.
Ooh, pretty good RNG here.
Come back here! Come back! There we go.
Yeah, so
there you are.
Slappy's AI. Yeah, that was really good.
Not bad. No,
that was really good.
No. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, fair to mention. You can die in cutscenes. The game doesn't care if you're in a cutscene. You can die to any external factor, and everything is a one-shot kill.
Yep.
So yeah.
So that red gnome, if I was within its radius and he realized I was there, if you are staring at it for a certain amount of time, I think it's like maybe 3-4 seconds. Whilst that Slappy thing is happening, like, you know, of him going into the book, I would have had to redo it.
Yeah.
Like, only the Slappy fight, but still, oh.
Yeah, some of the checkpoints are a little unforgiving, which is kind of weird because this is quite clearly a kid's game. But in a few instances, they actually remove some progress, which is kind of rude. So now we're on to the greenhouse.
Nice. So, greenhouse is where we start to introduce our first major glitch. Now, we can actually do the infinite sprint glitch here as well. Needle made me aware of how I can do it here today. So, that helped was... Oh, by the way, in practice today... Oh, Epic Games, please go away. Oh, boy. Epic Games, get your notifications away. Seriously. Epic Games, stop it. There we go. All right. It's all good. It's all good. Right. What was I saying before Epic Games decided to troll my ass?
You got a world record today.
Yes, I got the world record for this game today.
Yes.
We went from a 16:14 over to a 14:42 IGT, which is absolutely fantastic. I never would have imagined I'd be able to save a lot of time, but it actually worked out quite well. So, very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. So, anyway...
now we have a little
the faff around that just happened there.
We have a little T-virus sort of cutscene happening now. We've been infected because Slappy, I don't know, sprayed some stuff at us. I'm not exactly sure how it worked. And there's a dude, Dr. Brewer, who's telling us that we can make a cure. He tells us that we need 3 ingredients. And normally when you do this section, you know, casually, there's like 3 separate puzzle areas you have to go through. They're really long. They're really annoying. Also, you may notice the camera spinning around. The game... Yeah, you got this. The game forces you to look at certain objects. So Nico's going to be like trying to look away and try to resist the camera, but it's really hard on the steering wheel. So here we go. We're getting into the first and perhaps the most interesting glitch. It's
Dizzy
the box.
warning, by the way. This is where dizziness may incur. So if you get motion sickness, please look away for just a short bit of time up until I'm top of this box. So
yeah, we're gonna be doing a little bit of spinning here. So what Nico's trying to do here, and it's a really interesting interaction. Oh, nice.
Oh.
I think you can sort that. Yeah. Yeah, so basically, you can shove the box underneath yourself. Perfect, dude. And once underneath yourself, you can stand on the box and pick it up while you uncrouch. And because when you uncrouch, you're like moving from a lower height to a higher height, this causes the box to sort of follow you. Similar to kind of like how the Amnesia Out of Bounds works, where you kind of just take a prop and fly with it. We called it the box yump. Which, you know, sort of a meme. Everything in this game is a meme. And yeah, dude, great job. That is actually the hardest.
I feel faster than the world record of me getting onto the box. So that was good.
It was. Yeah, I just verified that run.
Nice.
So yeah, now we have a little puzzle for kids section. The game actually gives you 2 recipes, and it tries to mislead you and have you make the wrong one. But you don't actually need, like, as long as you have the knowledge of the correct recipe, you don't actually have to look at the correct recipe. There's no triggers in this game. If there was a way to activate the final door in this area, I'm 99% sure the game would just let you do it. Because this game really has no checks or checkpoints, like where it checks to make sure that you picked up a certain item. So we're making the serum without any of the ingredients. Essentially, we skipped all over the puzzle sections, and now we got the.
There's
purple
actually
drink.
a sound cue that little. Boop, 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 boop. That's all you need to know, literally.
Yeah. So we got the cure, and we sipped the purple drink, and we are now back to normal. Amazing fingernails in this game. And now Brewer reveals his true form, which is kind of like a Groot sort of situation. I don't think this is from...
Epic Games, really? Oh my god. Epic Games, second time trying to troll me today. What is going on with Epic Games?
Shout out to Epic Games. So we threw the potion at Groot, and this gets rid of him. This section, we've always theorized that you can skip past him, except if you run into him while he's doing that death animation, it actually kills you. So it's not really worth the risk. And that was the conservatory in really good time, I must say, dude.
I don't have my live split on, but maybe we should retime it afterwards, maybe.
Well, this game is RTA anyway, so your runtime, I mean RTA for now. We're working on a
well,
auto
look at the RTA after this then, because technically we verified the RTA as being, I think it was like, what was that, like 15 minutes on the dot?
Yeah.
So let's have a see what the RTA is, shall we? I'm genuinely intrigued.
So we're heading into third section. You want to take it?
Yeah. Hi, Nikola Tesla's in this game somehow. Who knew? But the funny thing about it is, like, you know, the only thing Nikola Tesla environment is the coils, and then you got like gummy bears, and you got like this guy here who's pushing the coils, but then he gets electrocuted, then he goes crying to go to get a book, and then there's a whole other section that we could skip the whole gummy bear section. So, long story short, we'd have to do like 3 different rooms of Tesla coils, sort of like, you know, place them in so that the bolt carries through in the direction to get to like the final point of receiving electricity. We can skip all of that by doing a skip called the Tesla gun skip, which, by the way, Flurp Madub is another member of the speedrun community who's actually, you know, figured out a lot of these skips as well. So shout out to Flurp Madub. All we got to do here is get on top of it, then kind of maneuver ourselves just a little bit, and we can actually get ourselves to like open the box when we shouldn't. I'd like to uncrouch, please.
Yeah, so similar to I explained, this one sort of, if you don't get it on the first try, you're better off retrying. This similar to the trick I mentioned on mouse and keyboard. We're going to be doing some hitbox displacement, and it basically, even though our camera isn't where the game wants it to be, it lets us interact with certain objects as though it is. So normally there's 3 puzzle rooms that were, you got this. This is probably one of the most annoying skips. This is the skip that kills like 99% of my PB runs.
I keep on falling off it.
Yeah, so the goal here is to get on top of the fuse and then do a little swivel. Nico actually taught me this move. It's a popular dance craze. And if done correctly, we should get the interaction spot for this.
There it is. I just saw it. I just saw it. Come on.
Yeah. So you'll see it change where it says E. And it's funny because somebody in chat was the first person who called this out. And they were like, I think I saw the interaction spot. And I was like, no way. And we kind of just wiggled our mouse at this case.
Done. There we go.
There you go. Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's like 20 minutes of puzzles in this area, and we're not going to do any of them. Yeah, and then there's a big long maze section, which is just tedious and kind of painful. And similar to the other skip, we're just going to kind of move our hitbox past the camera.
There we go.
There you go.
Nice.
And get right on the elevator. And no triggers, no checks, no nothing. The game just kind of lets you do whatever you want. And now we're in the final ascent.
I don't know how to get ISG here. There is a way to get ISG, but again, for marathon safety, in the sense of like, you know, doing this run, let's just take this nice and chill, shall we?
Yeah, there's a super YOLO strat that you can do here where, so basically, we're kind of trying to beat the falling platforms. There's really not that much sense of urgency here. Like, the platforms are very generous with how long you can stand on them. However, you can skip some sections and sort of bypass the falling platforms in a few areas. It's very YOLO, and
I really need to itch my nose, but I can't take my hands off the wheel.
Let me just reach over into the frame.
I could, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have to make do. Okay, there we go. Done.
Nice.
So yeah, essentially, like this is just like climbing platforms to Electric Boogaloo. Once we get to the top, then we're gonna go on another elevator to go to the final fight, the Slappy fight. Because after all this time, it was Slappy. It was a friend who made along the way, and Slappy is apparently a friend. I don't know.
Yeah,
so
Slappy
long
and
story short,
Nicholas
that is
Tesla
that stick
in cahoots, right?
exactly. So it's kind of like Slappy's going to say, oh, hey, all of these kind of past situations, let me summon the final boss of them, if you know what I mean. So you've got Gwen, you've got the clown, so clown warning again, and you've also got the big bad wolf from the, like, it's all from the very first mission, basically. Which you think it was kind of weird, seeing as, like, you know, what happened to the gummy bears? Why aren't they a final fight situation?
That's true.
But not only that, there is a stage where we have to show, use a gun that we acquired to shoot at these orbs. So I want to see everyone in the chat saying orb in a second. So we can shout, do 3 lots per character, so there's 9 orbs altogether. And then Slappy's going to do a final hit at us. He failed it twice in practice before today. So I want to make sure that I don't do that. And then it'll be GG time, basically. Literally, that's the run. So I'd say Tech, get ready on time.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty much Goosebumps Dead of Night. Yeah. Newsel, please. Sorry.
Yeah. So there's 3 phases to this fight. We're gonna be shooting orbs, which, you know, the classic orb. There's one orb, and each orb is like meant to represent the enemies that we saw previously. So the green ones represent the graveyard ghoul, and then the next one I think are red, which represents the clown, and then the last one are yellow to represent, or this one's yellow, and then next one's red.
Yeah.
And after all that, Slappy will do a final shot at us, and the time is basically when a dialogue appears.
Yep.
All the while, we also have to avoid these witches who kind of have like a really random pattern to their shots, and they don't stop shooting during cutscenes, which can be a really big pain point for sure. Nice.
Close. I saw the witch kind of like trailing around the right.
Yeah.
Like, get it quickly.
Yeah. So yeah,
it is still 1-hit KO.
Yeah.
Remember, you die, you have to redo all of this fight again, as you can understand on a PB pace. You don't really want to take that rip. The little circles can be it. This one around here can come through, so you can shoot your ray gun at the witches, and they just exploded. It's kind of like, you know, you're shooting water on the, you know, the evil Wicked Witch of the West. Similar situation. So, Orb, where are you? I want to shoot you, please. I would like for you to dismantle your energy combustion. I don't know. I was gonna say energy matter. That's the one. Here we go. Final hit. Final hit. And time. There we go.
nice. GG, dude.
Well done.
Slappy's dead. GG, easy peasy, no re. So that's basically it. We basically have stopped Slappy in their paths. We brought Slappy back into the book. And that's it, right?
Yep.
I don't think there's anything else you can say much from that.
That's about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Jack Black for doing the voices. I don't even think he remembers. This was probably a random day when he was in the studio and they were like, hey, can you just read some stuff for us? And shout outs to the devs. It's a very small dev studio that made this game. If you're interested in running it, the Discord is surprisingly active. Nico has an excellent tutorial on YouTube. It's missing a couple of the newest strats, but if you're looking to get up and running, it'll teach you everything you need to know.
Absolutely.
And Nico is a fantastic guy. Nico.
No, you,
Thank you,
oh
man.
my God, no, you. So yeah, like, honestly, this is such a short, simple, easy game. I mean, the beginning bit can be a little bit reset heavy, but if you lot are wanting to do a 15-20 minute run, this is right up your alley as well. There is a glitchless route as well. They introduced an extreme mode as well to the game for last Halloween. Niddle is the world record holder for both any percent and glitchless and normal and extreme as well. Tell us the difference between extreme quickly.
Yeah, so yeah, there is an extreme difficulty where enemies are faster. It doesn't really make a difference though, because everything kills you in one shot anyway. So for the most part, it's like the same run. I think it could actually be faster because the boss fights are faster. But yeah, if you're interested in running this, there's a little something for everybody. If you've never run a game before, this is not a bad first choice. It's a very straightforward route. It's easy to learn. Reach out to one of us. Reach out to the community. You know where to find us.
And by the way, you'll probably be hearing two things quite a lot: the typewriter and you goop. So
Yeah.
have fun with that. So I guess with all of that said and done, that is myself. You can find myself on twitch.tv/Nico Hearts. Hello, Nico Hearts on Twitter. Nina, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch as well. Same name as you see here. I speedrun a ton of different games. Goosebumps Dead of Night. If you ever have questions, feel free. Nico Hart as well. I know he's super nice guy, always entertaining questions. So definitely drop in.
Fun thing as well before I pitch off. I'm going to be doing a interesting challenge run very soon, which is going to be Undertale, all major endings on smashable enter keys. So if you want to see some weird things like that, that'll be happening on Friday. So aside from that, Conception, I guess it's back to you, my friend.
Well, let me just say thank you both so much for being here, and especially for taking on the challenge of doing it on the steering wheel, which was not my original plan, but it was a better plan. It was a better plan.
That's so true. I kind of pitched it last minute, and they were just like, yes, let's do it. Let's go. It is definitely awfully silly.
Yes, absolutely. He said the name of the show, so you know it's legitimate. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, the both of you. For everyone out there in Chatland, we're going to take a quick little break here. You can get up, you can stretch, you can hop on some boxes and float through the sky, and we will see you back here in a few minutes with our next run, which is going to be Casper. So don't go away for too long. We'll see you in a few. All right, and welcome back to Awfully Silly. We're going to be keeping on rolling with the kids shows / movies theme for this evening. Before we jump into that, would like to remind everyone as well, Flame Fatales will be having its next all-women speedrunning event, Flame Fatales, in late August. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and type !FF in the Twitch chat, or go on over to gamesdonequick.com/Flame Fatales for some more information. But since we have a jam-packed evening, I think we jump right into this next run, which you would think that we might be speedrunners from the crypt with all these scary games that we're doing, but we're gonna jump right into spooky quote-unquote game number 2 with Casper Scare School, run by Tainted Tally. So go ahead and take it away.
All right, hello, my name is Tali, and I'm going to show you Casper's Scare School tonight. This is probably a game that most of you maybe haven't heard of. I was just randomly browsing retro games one day when I found this for $3. I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. And I did not make this mistake by myself. I brought Schmumbler along with me. Do you want to introduce yourself, Schmumbler?
Hey, so yeah, I'm Schmumbler. You guys might know me from Downpour and Homecoming speedruns. Maybe not, who cares? This is all about Casper.
Quality speedruns, that's what we do. So yeah, time doesn't actually start until we are done loading in, by the way, so that's why I got a bit of a head start here, but this game is just... it's something. You are not ready, Twitch chat, but you will see this regardless.
Yeah, so Casper Scare School is a wonderful game that you think starts out as a collectathon platformer, but then quickly changes through like 2 different genres until it becomes a racing game for the rest.
Yep, that's a pretty good summary of it. And the biggest time killer, I guess, is the loading speed. As you can see, it takes kind of a while to start up, but please hurry up so we can actually get this run started, because Twitch chat is probably at the edge of their seats right now.
Of course they are. It's Casper, and it's a video game. What you can't anticipate anything else.
There it is. All right, so yeah, once I hit continue is when the time starts. I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1, and go. So, of course, we gotta go to Scare School. Oh, no, there we go. Already off to a great start. So, we gotta collect a bunch of items and then still make it in time for the bus to get to school. And of course, we gotta bring very important books, you know, paintings, classical paintings. Who doesn't want to bring that to school as well? We have some underpants, some random flower pots. I don't know how to explain the items, but as you can see, controls are incredibly janky. So that's going to be my main struggle throughout this. And Casper just likes to randomly get stuck in basically anything. Walls, doors, items, objects, all of it. you just randomly get stuck. So
Yeah.
main challenge here is to just try to not.
Yeah, you would really think being a ghost and all, we would be able to, go through things, but turns out we're actually made of glue. And anytime you walk into a wall, you're just stuck walking in place for like 3 seconds, unless you jump into the wall just before you hit. It's just one of those fun little quirks that makes running this game such a joy.
It really does. So yeah, that's why you will see a lot of random, maybe seemingly jumps. It's because I'm trying to avoid getting stuck as much as possible. It mostly won't work, but you gotta at least try, right?
Yep. Also, the hitboxes on a lot of these items is extremely jank too, especially the paintings. I'd say the hitbox for the painting is maybe a third the size of the actual image.
Yeah, it's something like that, because if you just walk into it, you'll just kind of walk under it. You won't actually pick it up. So again, you kind of need to jump to get into where you need to be for it.
Yeah.
Gotta pick up this lamp. Gotta have a lamp at scare school. Very important. Bunch of underwear. I don't know why we need so much underwear.
Hey, hygiene is important.
Sure is.
For all those clothes that Casper wears.
Exactly. Oh, and there you go. Stuck in the doorway again. We gotta bring Mona Lisa. Of course. Very important once again.
Oh yeah, have to practice.
Oh,
our
I've
art
missed an
theft.
item, haven't I? I have missed an item. I'm not sure which one I've missed. This is off to a great start. Alright, well, good news is, this was supposed to be my last item, but I'll just follow the arrow to figure out which one I missed. This is so typical. I did this in practice, got everything every single time, and I told Schmumblers, now, I'm gonna miss this when we actually go
I think
live.
in the bathroom. I think you might have.
I think so.
Yeah, so it's one
Oh,
that you
yeah,
went for
it's
and it
just-
just didn't collect.
Oh, I hit replay like an idiot.
Oh no.
I'm gonna
Do
go
you
back
have
to
a
the main
save?
menu. I do, but I don't have my memory card plugged in now to avoid the autosave, but I think it's still gonna give it to me. If not, I'll just have to plug in my memory card. There it is.
Good.
Alright, so now we actually got ready for going to school. So now we are going to take the bus to school, except that it's not a bus, it's a pirate ship.
So
Because of course, when you go to scare school, that's what you do.
shout outs to another kids show. Perfect opportunity to fly the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, we've had some
That is
SpongeBob
true.
love on the show before. Yeah. It's all theming.
It is. It all fits together. Alright, so here we go. And this is jankier than you might think.
Oh god. This ship flies at a mile a minute. You go by holding X and it just zooms off.
Yeah,
That-
and sometimes it doesn't even want to properly stop and pick up the kids, so you really need to wedge yourself in where you need to be.
Yep, and everything has collisions, so you're gonna get stuck on pretty much everything. There's not words. I have literally gone through children with the boat in this stage, and it just doesn't give it to you.
Yep, that happens quite a bit. Alright, last one.
The one
this is a
saving
pretty
grace.
short save.
Yeah, that's the one saving grace of this level.
And of course a tree would grab me there. There you go. Alright,
Not too bad.
so now you've seen one that's kind of like a platformer, collect-a-thon, you need to collect items, and then we have a bit of a driving game. And now comes, I guess, what the rest of the game is going to be, which is basically just racing.
Yeah,
It's going to be, there's just one. Controls don't get any better, by the way. In fact, I'd say they get worse.
yeah. So at this point, Casper's speed becomes faster, but his jump is still slow and he still gets stuck on everything he touches. Then you
Yep.
throw in the fact that half of these objects kind of just phase in and out of existence, and, who really knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, it's a toss-up, that's for sure. And looks like it's a difficult platformer section. It's not. The fastest way to do it is really just you jump into the green lava or whatever this is and just take the supposed damage that isn't actually damage and you just keep bouncing through.
Yeah, weirdly enough, there's only one stage in this game that does have HP, and it's the very end where it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. It would make more sense to have the damage here, but I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
And you'll also see that we're going through these little checkpoint things. That's probably the biggest shame of this level, that you can't just go from, cut halfway through the stage and get to the end right off, because there are definitely a lot of corners we could cut that we just can't because we'd miss the next checkpoint.
Yeah, there's a lot of shortcuts, but we're limited on the ones we can actually use. It's a shame, but... Alright, last lap. And if you're wondering how it can get worse, don't worry, you will see soon, because at least this one is actually not too bad, I'd say, when we're just outside, but next lap that's coming up after this one is going to be basically the same as this, but it also has an indoor path inside the scare school itself, and that is where things get tricky. Also, at this point, we will start to lap some of our classmates, which is always very funny. They struggle a lot, more than we do.
Oh yeah. We at least have the benefit of not having to follow the path exactly.
Yeah. It's always funny. You see some random stuff sometimes when you start to lap them. Like, they get stuck on the weirdest things. But it's nice to know that we're not the only ones getting stuck, right?
Yeah, so like Tally said, this next part is going to have some parts that are inside the actual school building. And if tight, winding corridors wasn't bad enough, it's actually the doorways that are the worst.
Yeah,
you go
the
through
doorways and the tight walls.
Yeah, you go through these tight spaces, and then you have the even tighter doorway that you just have to somehow make it through at Casper's mega speed.
And again, remember that we are made of glue, apparently, so we will get stuck a lot. We have to try and compensate as best as we can. Oh god.
Except for gates. Apparently, we bounce off of those like rubber balls.
Apparently. Can't have a consistency in a game like this.
Gosh, so chaotic.
You also bounce into the other classmates, which doesn't help, especially at the start here when you're all like kind of bunched up together still.
Yeah.
Until you can get a bit of a head start.
It's just about impossible to get into first place until you get back outside here.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh no. It's okay, the wall was solid that whole time.
Yeah,
No
wouldn't have
time
made
lost.
it through sooner anyway. There you go. Always so easy to catch up right in this part because they try to platform the best they can, but we skip all of the actual platforming. You can even do a little bit of a different shortcut here because we don't need to go all the way down. Oh, stuck in the tree. Didn't know that was possible. Oh no, the gate!
Boing, boing.
There you go. He's not made of glue for that particular gate. Everything else, though, very much glue.
Oh no.
Casper, please. There we go. Like, I don't know if it looks as janky as it feels. I feel like it is actually worse than it looks, and it already looks pretty bad, so I don't know how to, like, properly express how jank this game is.
I was gonna say, trust me, it looks pretty jank for sure. It looks, It looks like it.
I think my favorite part about him getting stuck too is he doesn't even keep the regular running animation. He starts slow walking. It's like you can't get him to do that any other way except by getting stuck on stuff.
It's also funny how the music just suddenly shifts. We have like this one fast-paced track, and then suddenly it's this track.
Yeah.
It just does not at all fit, you know.
There are 3 tracks in this game, and each one has a very obvious stage that it's supposed to be on. But
No, the gate again!
they're not nearly long enough, so you just cycle through them every time.
Yep. That is some terrible RNG on this race.
Eh,
It's alright, we made it to last lap. We're almost done with this.
yeah, still in first. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. As long as I don't need to restart, I'm good. God, poor.
Yeah, it's
And
just
here's
It's
another funny part in that this is not the worst level.
You haven't even seen the worst of it yet, chat. Alright, so now we're outside. Now it's pretty smooth sailing from here on out. For this level, specifically.
I just think it's
Out of the lava.
there's really interesting choices made here, right? So like he can't phase through anything, even though he's a ghost. And like the Casper
no.
stuff that I've seen, he has like a tail and not feet, right? So but like now it's a
Yeah.
foot race. He could have been a flying race.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah, we made it past the racing level, but we're still gonna race, but now we have hurdles. So once again, very deceptive because you can very easily get stuck on the hurdles. There are some corners that we want to cut, but there's an invisible wall, which still, you're made of glue still, so you can get stuck in these invisible walls, and it's...
Yeah. And
this is a big run killer.
And arguably the worst part about it too is it's all straightaways, so there's nothing for the NPCs to get caught in.
Except each other.
So they can very easily just overtake you.
Yeah. Just gotta focus a bit for this one because I don't want to accidentally get stuck on anything that I don't have to.
The one saving grace for this is that you do like get multiplied speed if you get hit from another or from behind by one of the NPCs. So if you fall behind, you can get in front of somebody else and just have them bump you back into first.
It's kind of tricky to do, but definitely possible. Not something you want to rely on for like consistency.
Oh no, definitely not.
Alright, we're at last lap, and I'm in first, so it's looking good. But it can turn very fast. They're immediately behind me, so a single mistake is all it takes, and they're going to be right on top of me again. Alright, made it. Okay. I'm so glad my run didn't die for that. But yeah, that's just one more level and one more race to go, which is, I guess, a bit of a final boss. We're gonna race Fats himself, but this one still has some challenges. The racing isn't even the worst for this last part, but for this part we also need to pick up our friends. We have 4 kids that we need to collect. And again, hitboxes and movement are janky. So sometimes you can bump right into them or face through them, and Casper just don't want to grab them, and you have to like loop back and collect them again, and then try to keep going.
Yeah, so
And
Garlips
again,
and
you need
I,
to be in first.
Garlips and I just recently had a race of this 2 days ago, and I was ahead on this level and then lost because I walked right through one of the kids and they just decided they didn't want to follow.
Yep. So what I usually use is my tell here is that I look at, because you have the collection thing in the top left where it says 0 out of 4. That's usually what I look at to try and immediately catch whether it actually went through or not. Because that usually gives me enough time to correct myself immediately. The first one's right there. We got him.
You can also see in the top right, there's that little green bar. That's the health that I was mentioning earlier. So if you get hit by a car, you do lose health. You can take, I think, 5 car hits before you die. But the coins that you see scattered around, those are health pickups. Thing is, they're all incredibly out of the way, so you really just want to not.
Yeah, ideally not. I think there's like one that you run into on the path. Oh, did I miss one? Oh, this one. Cool. Alright, we're back on track. We're still ahead. This is all good. We are also coming up, I should mention again, this is the last level, so at the end of this, once we pass through the last gate, that is time. Alright, third one. Alright. Looking good. We're making up for the rocky start we had at the start of the run.
I'm so nervous for these kids
Last
in
one.
traffic.
Alright, so straight path ahead, we're gonna make it easy, so get ready on time. And time! There we go, that is Casper Scarecool. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Tali. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more of this or other games, I usually do retro games, horror games. I actually do 102 Dalmatians as well, which is coming up after this. So I will be on commentary for that, but I will not do the run itself. I'm also at SGDQ 2022, so you can catch me hosting for one of the horror blocks.
Ooh, host fam, me too. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot you were hosting as well. Excellent. We'll get to meet in person.
Also, 100%.
Yes.
We do.
Awesome. And yeah, any other shout outs? Any shout outs from you, Schmumbler?
Shout outs to Schmumbler.
Shout outs to Schmumbler, of course, yes.
Yes. So if you, for some reason, liked what you saw here, come check all of us out at the Twitch TV stream team, the Clock Tower. Pretty much, well, not pretty much, every single person who runs this game is part of our stream team. So you can find us at twitter.com/clocktowerttv, and we have a link to our Discord there that you can come and hang out with us.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you both so much for being here. And for you, chat, we're going to take a quick little break here while we get set for the next run. You know, get some water, get to walking with your ghost feet, and we will see you here in just a few moments. All right, and welcome back to Awfully Silly. We are, of course, running tonight's show themed on kids' shows and movies, and the next run is no exception. We actually even teased it a little bit at the end of the previous run of Casper Scare School by Tainted Tally. Would like to remind everyone as well, of course, though, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support our weekly hotfix content, so please consider supporting our daily content, which starts weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern if you enjoy these hotfix shows. But without further ado, I think it's time to jump right into our first non-quote-unquote spooky game, which is going to be 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue, and it's going to be run by Passer. So go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everybody. I'm Passer, and I'm going to be speedrunning 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue. This game was released for the live-action movie that was released in 2000, but it has like a completely different plot, as you're going to see as we go through this. And I'm joined by Tainted Tally, who you saw during the last run. I'll let her introduce herself.
Hello! Once again, my name is Tally. I run Casper Scare School, but also this game, 102 Dalmatians. Although I don't run out of bounds, I do run inbounds and all puppies, so I'm super excited to also be here to support Passer during this awesome out of bounds run.
Yeah, so time's not going to start until we get control of the puppy in Regent's Park. The plot of this game, though, is, like I said, is completely different from any other Dalmatians content, completely different from any of the movies that have been released. Cruella has kidnapped all of our siblings and is going to turn them into toys, and so we're going to try really hard to stop her, and you might get some more of the plot as we go along here, but I don't, Tally, are we good to go?
I'm good to go, whenever you're ready.
Here we go then. So I'm going to start this level, and then we're going to skip the cutscene, and then after the cutscene is when time's going to start. So that'll be after the load screen.
Also, on the topic of puppies, mine are actually waking up now. So you might have dog noises IRL too.
Oh, that'll be perfect.
Full immersion.
We're going to help. Okay, so time's going to start in 3, 2, 1.
So, welcome to Puppies. What you're going to notice right away is that Passer will be rolling a lot, and that is basically our main movement when it comes to speed, because that's the fastest way to go. However, we can't roll forever, so you'll notice that the roll will sometimes stop, and at that point we will try to jump, and then we'll go right back into our roll, and that's basically the general movement. We roll, we jump, re-roll, and then we jump again. Rinse, repeat.
And so now we're in Toy Store, which is where the weird plot of this game comes in, because there are some toy-themed levels, and all of the enemies are toys.
Yeah, we touched upon this at the start, but basically the plot of this is that Cruella she tried to actually have her own line of toys to try and, I guess, make money from that. But then it turns out she's not actually good at making toys, so none of the kids wanted to have her toys or play with them, so it kind of flopped. And that's when she got the idea instead to, you know what, let's kidnap puppies, because that always works out so well for me, and we'll make toys out of the puppies instead, because everyone loves puppies, right?
You'll see most of these toys are trying to do serious damage to us, so it's really no wonder that her toys didn't do very well.
That is true, yeah. You'll also see a lot of famous English places as we move along. Right now we're in Piccadilly Circus.
Just as I remember it.
Who needs to go to London when you can just play 102 Dalmatians, right?
Mm-hmm. Saves you a lot of money, I bet.
Oh, that definitely does.
Yeah, we're gonna see Big Ben, we're gonna see the museum.
A lot of famous landmarks.
You actually have the option to destroy Stonehenge if you do like 100% category, but we don't ever touch Stonehenge in this category.
The option to
Fortunately for
destroy
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge in
Yep.
102 Dalmatians. Okay. Said so casually.
It makes sense, we promise.
Yeah. So flippantly. Okay.
And there's a speed tech right there on the jump too. Like normally you're supposed to platform around on some gears and cogs that go around into Big Ben, but if you do your jump right, Passer made it look a lot easier than it actually is, but it's kind of tricky, that jump, but then you can skip that entire platforming in this one section. And you also notice that she just switched Puppies to Oddball instead of Domino. And you might wonder, like, hey, what's the reason? They move the same, right? Is there really a difference? And, well, movement-wise, it's the same. But there are some unskippable cutscenes later in the run, specifically for one of the boss fights, where Oddball has a shorter line of dialogue. So we can't skip it. So we just opt for playing as a puppy that has the shorter line of dialogue to save time.
Yeah, they actually say the exact same thing, but for some reason, Oddball says it's so much faster.
Yeah. And also, this is out of bounds, so you saw it in the first level, some cool out of bounds tricks. We're about to see it again. Use this puppet to knock us out, and then we're floating a bit in midair. And because Pastor has amazing control of the puppy, she's able to get it to float exactly where we need to be able to skip ahead to the end of the level. We don't need to do the platforming, which usually can be a bit of a run killer if you're playing this inbounds like I usually do. There's a lot of platforms where you can fall, and because you're climbing a tower, essentially you drop just straight horizontally and you just fall right back down and you need to climb all over again. But there you go, the level is over, and now we're on to our first boss fight. So this is Cruella, and as we do, we defeat her with fruit. This time it's pineapple that we launch at her little helicopter thing. And then we hit the bell of Big Ben, which causes her to basically get stunned and skips ahead. And then we can just basically kind of lock her into position as we keep hitting her with these pineapples. So just rinse, repeat until we get all the 5 hits. And yes, there's definitely a fruit theme. We're gonna run into Cruella 3 more times in total. And 3 out of the 4 times we run into her, we will defeat her with fruit. And here is the museum. For right now, our goal is we can't just rush to the end of this one. This is a bit of a collectathon. So we have to go and pick up the items that are misplaced from their exhibits and bring them back to Fluffy, who is sitting in the main lobby because he doesn't want to unlock the door for us until we do what he wants, basically.
We have to clean up the museum for him, and then he'll let us out.
Yes. A lot of pathing here to remember what order to collect your items in, and then make sure to deliver it as efficiently as possible. There's also some slopes and stuff we can use at our advantage, because again, rolling is the main speed that we have in this game when it comes to movement. Sometimes there's a little bit of a slope, and if you can hit your roll just right on any of these slopes, you will get a speed boost. So we try to take advantage of as many of those as possible, but they can be a bit tricky. And it's time for another out-of-bounds trick. You wouldn't be able to do this inbounds, despite the fact that it doesn't exactly, I guess, take you too far, but we want to be on the upper level here. So we use this toaster bot to hopefully at least shoot us. There we go, right where we need to be able to just skip on top to where we need to be to get on top. Because normally if you weren't going to use this trick, you would have to go into the room next to it and then climb that and then pass into this room. It's just much slower than what Pastor just did.
And that was a big slow boost off the pyramid.
Yeah. Here we go, last item that has been misplaced, and it's a donut. Wonder which exhibit the donut belongs to.
Misplaced, it's in the cafeteria. He's like, hey, can you go get the donut? I lost it in the cafeteria.
Yeah, and turns out that he just wanted a snack, and now he's good to let us out. We did all his work for him and fetched him a snack, and now we can move on.
You have to appreciate the hustle there, just to get a free snack.
Now we're in the subway. Once again, you're gonna see a bit of a slow boost. If done right, this takes you in front of... oh, there we go. Nice. So you can actually hit that subway, which can give you another boost, because normally you will run in way late. And again, going out of bounds, getting us to where we need to be faster. It's great when you don't really need to worry about collecting during the run, because then you can just find a place to get outside the level and then just get to where you need to be, which is the end of the level.
The game is called Puppies to the Rescue, and you can actually rescue puppies. You can actually rescue puppies, but we don't in this category. They're not required to beat the game.
It's very unfortunate in a sense that we don't actually go out to rescue our puppy friends. But hey, as long as we defeat Gorilla at the end, they will be safe, right?
Yeah.
They're fine. They all get free.
And this is a very tricky level. There's a lot of very difficult tech to it. So, you know, we gotta make sure that we have our movement just right to be able to find the exit, which is right there. Good job. There is actually a lot to this level if you do want to collect everything. Like if you're finding all the puppies and stuff, it is quite complicated. But since all we need to worry about in this category is to visit all the levels and get to the exit as fast as possible, it's really just you run to the end, that's it. Another example right here of using one of the toys to get knocked out of bounds. Oh.
That's okay. We'll
ideally, at least. It's the benefit of having these tricks pretty early on, because then it's pretty fast to just do a quick restart and then we're going again. Yeah, I don't know if they look as difficult as they are, but they really are quite tricky to pull off.
There we go.
And there it is. First try.
Yep, that was first try.
Totally first try.
Nothing else came before it.
This is also a very fun one because it has a lot to it. Like at the end there, you might see that there's a crane, which normally you would have to operate to be able to get to the exit. But again, we're out of bounds. We can basically just float. So we just go directly to the exit, skip everything else. And now it's time for the second boss fight. Once again, we defeat her with fruit. So these watermelons thankfully grow super fast, so we just need to wait for them to grow, and then once she stops, or if you're feeling brave, you can try to hit her in motion too, and there's the cutscene we talked about earlier, which is the reason why we play Oddball. But yeah, you can try to hit her in motion, but it's very hard to do, so if you want to play it safe, you wait for her to stand still, and then you try to hit her. And again, we defeated her with watermelons.
This is the level that has Stonehenge in it, but you're just gonna see it probably out of the corner of your eye. We're not actually going to investigate it or destroy it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
We're basically just passing through. We're not really stopping to do anything.
There's some nice slow boosts here.
Yes. You can speed this level up quite a bit with slow boosts, especially at the end. And you saw Stonehenge there just a little bit at the corner of your eye. You saw some rocks. That was Stonehenge.
Still intact for now.
For now.
For now.
Bring somebody back to do 100%, and then we can see it destroyed.
You just want the context more than anything.
Yeah, right?
So, not all the levels. You have the option to, like, fight Corella's henchmen in some of the levels, and so the context there is that you use Stonehenge to defeat one of the henchmen.
As you do.
Yeah, as anyone would, yeah.
And right now we're in Barnyard, which is another one of the collectathon levels, kind of like Royal Museum, where you have some prerequisites that you need to do before you can open the exit. Otherwise, we could, just rush ahead. So for this, Priscilla the pig, it's her birthday today, but sadly the farmer is kind of terrible at his job. So he's left it all to Priscilla to look after the farm today on her birthday. So instead, because, it is her birthday, so we try to help her out, and we take some intentional damage here to make for a death abuse later on to speed things up. But basically, yeah, we need to help her to do chores. So we've unstuck the windmill, we're gonna get the chickens all cooped up right now, and then there's some other things we need to do as well before we get to unlock it. Are we going for her birthday present?
I don't know,
or are we going fast? We could.
It's not required. Do we want to give her a birthday present?
Chat, what do you think?
Leaving it up
right
to
there, I
chat.
just stacked the cutscene actually for the death and the last end. get here a little bit faster.
That was very good, yeah. 'Cause yeah, sometimes when you die at this level, it does take you back to Priscilla, so we will stack up. One more time, we will use that Death Abuse to kind of basically get back to Priscilla as fast as possible, instead of having to walk all the way back. It's just faster to take the death. So once again, intentional damage to be able to do this a second time.
And jumping through that haystack is actually an out-of-bounds trick.
Yeah.
Easiest way to kill your inbounds run is to accidentally do that trick, because it's so easy it doesn't feel like you're going out of bounds.
Yeah, it really does. I think that's one of the very few out-of-bounds tricks I know myself.
It puts you like on top of the haystack when you jump into that corner for some reason.
Yeah, and there's our other Death Abuse, because again, much faster to take the death and get teleported back to Priscilla over actually running all the way back. So we're almost done. And now you didn't get to see it before the puppy operate heavy machinery, because we kind of skipped that part, but we're doing it again. We're picking up this key, and then we need to go find a tractor to tear down an outhouse. Because, you know, puppies can operate heavy machinery. Apparently, like, it's no big thing in this game.
Operated better than I could,
show
probably.
this cutscene too? We could get Priscilla's gift and show this cutscene.
Sure, I do love this cutscene
It's such a
personally. It's
weird
just so funny. And that's how puppies drive a tractor.
We're
Not
very good
using-
at it. We can do it telepathically, telekinetically.
Oh, that's lovely.
Outside and it's riding my tractor across the yard.
You better not be drinking this early, or so help me, I'm moving back to my mother's house, and you don't want to see that.
And when you run into the
Never mind.
the outhouse here, the puppy just kind of slides off, as you'll see. It's okay, the puppy's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And you'll land in different spots too, depending on whether you skip that or not. So that's interesting little thing for you there. And Chad did say that they want to see the birthday present, so I guess we're gonna have to go for the birthday present. Normally that would be the last thing we do. And that right now Priscilla opened the gate for us because she's like, no one remembers my birthday anyway, but we remember
Just
her
wait.
birthday. She gets her present. Happy birthday, Priscilla.
birthday.
Happy
Priscilla.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Friend.
Thanks a lot, Priscilla. I had so much fun helping you out. Have a great birthday.
She said we're her new best friends, guys.
All thanks to you, Chad.
Okay, this is the hard one.
Yeah, this is a hard one because all retro games need to have ice level with ice physics, right? So it doesn't really make sense story-wise, but we gotta have our ice physics in at least one level. So thankfully we can go out of bounds. This is a tricky one though. Those penguins have a very erratic movement, so they don't really like to cooperate. Oh, so close. There it is. First try. Let's go. Skips us right ahead to the exit. And then we can just leave instead of having to walk around all of it. And this is way faster because obviously there's a lot of pathing that we otherwise have to do. And there's also a mandatory race in the middle of that level that we can just skip past.
Yeah, you have to do like a slalom course for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it's an ice
Not that you
level, of
actually need
course.
to hit the things in it, but you do need to do the actual race itself. And once again, we're out of bounds. So we're in an ancient castle right now. Not that you can see much of it, but right now we're essentially climbing to the top of this castle to get ready for our third boss fight. Because once again, we are going to defeat Cruella with fruit. So this one's quite tricky. Right now, Casper is going to do a very specific setup to try and get a good movement, because basically we can manipulate Cruella to act a certain way, which makes this boss
it's not
fight way
moving.
faster. Oh,
Never mind.
that.
The movement setup isn't quite right because the I've never had that happen before, actually, where it just doesn't move at all, but
I haven't seen that either.
there's a
That one
first
was
time
new to
for
me.
everything.
Yeah. Well, we can still probably get lucky. It won't be quite the setup we wanted, but we can still probably. There you go. You still got a pretty good setup for it.
Yeah, it was close enough. Not quite perfect,
Close enough.
but close enough.
Still fast. And now she's defeated by pumpkins. You think she's gonna have a big like love-hate relationship with fruit after this?
Maybe she just is terrified of fruit. Maybe that's the lore that we don't ever get in the game, is that she's terrified of fruit, and we're using that to our advantage. I don't know.
Maybe.
Although
maybe.
she shoots us with tomatoes, so I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, we're now in the spooky forest, so there's some teleporting that kind of happens. You can use those trees to kind of get ahead, and a little bit of a speed boost there as well on that one soldier toy to make sure we get through this level as fast as possible. This one can be tricky to navigate when you don't know what the paths are. I got lost in this so many times when I played this casually.
When I learned the 100%, it was really hard for Spooky Forest. Like, this is Hedge Maze. You'd think that the Hedge Maze would be really hard. Spooky Forest is more of a maze than Hedge Maze is.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's surprisingly straightforward for a hedge maze.
There's also, like, maps for it. You can find maps that you can see where you are, and there's nothing like that for the forest level.
And this is also Krella's backyard, apparently, because once we're through here, you're gonna see that she has a big ass portrait at the end of this that we need to unlock, and that takes her into her house. So we're almost there. We're almost at Krella's place, which is, you know, last boss fight coming up very soon.
Because what
And this
better
is
way
also-
to keep people out of your house than a giant puzzle made out of your face?
Right, it's not very tricky to solve, but there is RNG to how many times you need to switch all of these. So sometimes you can get lucky and maybe switch most of them just once and they'll be in the right place. Sometimes you need to switch most of them 3 times to get in the right place.
Yeah,
But
that
past we did
wasn't
it pretty
great,
fast and we're
but
through.
it wasn't terrible. So here we go. We're getting close to the end.
Yes. Like I said, the hedge maze was her backyard, and now we're actually inside her manor. And once again, we're gonna do an out-of-bounds trick. We're using this toast spot to push us out where we need to be. On toast spot. And there we go.
These
Out of
toast
bounds
spots
once
are
again.
very useful.
They are.
I think we should start producing toast spots. I'd buy a toast spot.
Yeah, I'm down.
I would buy a toast spot.
Now when I use my toaster, it would be useful.
So last level before the actual last boss fight of the game here. This one can potentially be quite tricky. I'm not as familiar with out of bounds, but I know in inbounds this can be a pretty big run killer. Because you can essentially kind of soft lock and need to restart the entire level if something goes wrong.
Yeah, we're gonna try to avoid that. For sure.
Ideally, yes.
This
There's
is
some
the actual
platforming that can be pretty
factory.
tricky.
This is apparently
Yeah.
where all the toys are made, but I'm not sure I see any toys being made.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how these tools or machines are supposed to make toys, but they're calling it a toy factory, so I guess they do.
Maybe this is another reason the toy business is failing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's these crushers right here that have the potential to be potentially very scary when it comes to killing the run. Because if they hit you the wrong way, they warp you out of bounds in a way that you don't want to be out of bounds in that way. Because it basically removes all the movable platforms and everything from the level, so you can't progress normally. But hey, we're going out of bounds again, using this, this puppet. Oh. If he wants to collaborate, but he didn't this time. So, but that's okay, we're getting close to the end of the level anyway.
I'm just gonna reset it and give it one more try.
That works too. Come on.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh.
Don't want to take another hit and die.
Yeah, these can be very tricky, these out of bounds to get, especially when the enemy just doesn't want to move the way you want them to move. Because it's a very specific way they need to like push
Oh,
you
I might die
for you to
with
be able
this,
to.
actually.
Oh!
I don't know. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's the last crusher of the game, basically, right there. And they are.
There we go.
They're scared. There you go. You got it.
Okay, we're good.
This level is a lot scarier than it may look.
Once you get to low health, you start to realize how many things can hurt you in this level.
But there you go, all the way at the end of the game, once again. So now we just have the final boss fight left. And this one can get a little bit loud, first of all, so be a bit wary of that. And this time we do not defeat her with fruit. Instead, we have these lasers. For the first phase, we need to take out these, I don't know, boxes? They almost look like TVs, but I don't think that's what they are.
You know, the boxes that power Cruella's super glue machine.
Yeah, but we got the one cycle, so we're in really good pace. And then we have these robots. These are pretty RNG based, so this can basically make or break your last boss fight. You want to get at least 3, ideally 4. If you can get 4 here, which Passer just did, then that's pretty good. Because then we only need to get 2 on this last laser before we move on to the last phase. And after this is the last phase of the boss fight. So when it says 3 out of 3 for the next phase, that is what we call time, so be ready on that. We have a very specific setup to do right here. Passer does not immediately go into the laser because we want to wait for the second of these balls to spawn, because at that point we need to know exactly where the third one spawns and we can be ready to get it as soon as possible, and that is time. Good job.
There we go. Whew. And now we dump Cruella into the super glue. This was her plan for turning the dogs into toys, was to dunk them in this green glue thing. I don't know. I don't
really see how that would make good toys, but yes, that is exactly what she was planning on doing. But instead, we got to dunk her in this gloop instead.
Out of this glue. Oh, say blue, my darling.
Awesome. Well done, Passer, and also on the commentary, Tainted Tally. Well done. This is. I was really excited to include this one because this is such a deceptively entertaining speedrun. You would think not on the surface, based on the name, but there's so much tech that goes into this run. It's just so always impressive. So very well done.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is also a genuinely good game, I would say. Casually or in a speedrun.
There you go. There you go. So more on the maybe the silly side instead of the awful side, for sure. Would either of you like to shout anything out or plug anything?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you, Tally, for doing this commentary. I know it's probably really late for you there, but you did the double shift. You did your own speedrun and then commentated, so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And then if you are interested in learning this game at all, we have a really great community. We have a lot of resources, video guides and written guides, and a lot of different things to help you learn it, whether you want to do inbounds or out of bounds, or you can also do the all puppies category if you're interested in saving the puppies. So yeah, I think it's a really fun game, and so if you're interested in it, we'd love to help you out in learning it. And if you want to see more runs of this, I do speedrun it on my Twitch channel. Tally sometimes does it on hers, along with other things that she speedruns, as you've already heard from her. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Holly, I'll leave it to you.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, once again, my name is Saint Tally. I do retro and horror games. This falls into the retro category, so you can see that. Yeah, I do inbounds and all puppies. All puppies is definitely a fun category, so check that out. And I'll see you at SGDQ 2022.
Thank you, guys.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you both so much again for being a part of the show. For everyone there, we are going to take another little break here while we get set up. So get some water, pet your dog, whatever the case may be, and we will be back in a few moments with our next run. Welcome back to Awfully Silly. We have just been trucking right along with some of these kid shows and movies-based games, and we've just been having a really good time. Before we jump right into the next one, of course, just want to remind everyone, in case you didn't know somehow, that Summer Games Done Quick is coming up. It's in a little, what is that, 2 weeks now? A little less than 2 weeks. It's going to be June 26th to July 3rd, and we have prize submissions open now if you're interested. So go on over to gamesdonequick.com for some more information if you are interested in learning about some prizes or submitting some prizes. But I think it is time we continue with the animal-based kids show based off a movie thing, and we're gonna do that with the late PS1 game, The Cat in the Hat, and it's gonna be run by none other than Mildew, and Mildew is Mildew. I can call him that because he's on my show. So welcome, Mildew.
Hello, everybody. I am Mildew, and this is Cat in the Hat, like explained. So basically, I just want to describe this game before I get into it because the run is kind of fast paced, even though I do walk a bit slow. This game is a adventure game made for kids, and I decided to speedrun it because I can. All right, so time starts when I hit end here, and 3, 2, 1, go. All right.
Good luck.
Thank you. So we got level 1 here. Right off the bat, when the level loads, I'm going to grab some keys off the wall here. Now, these keys will stay with me throughout the entire game, and they will be used to open specific doors. Now, every time you hear that ba-ba sound, it means I got a special item that I need to complete the level, and when I get every item, the level ends. So here comes the one and only glitch that I will do in the run. I will bring up the menu and go through the door at the same time at some point here. Trust me, I swear this works. There we go. Alright, so what that does is that basically warps me to a specific part of the room. I don't entirely know which part of the room it really is. Well, I do, but I also don't know why it's that part. So, yeah, we use that to sort of get through the rooms faster. I'm going to pick up a ball here. This is a very slow animation. And then we're going to use this blue key here to open this door. And then I'm going to do that glitch again in order to get through half of this room and pick up the 2 items that I need in order to complete the level. So yeah, now I'm just going to walk through this room and yeah. We're going to do that glitch again at this door right here. God, I'm having a little bit of trouble here. And we're gonna spawn right in front of the fridge. We're gonna take the bottle out of the fridge, put the candles on the cake, grab the cake, drain the sink, pick up the boat. We're gonna pour this glass of milk into the other glass of milk, pick that up, and that is part of the mission. And then we're gonna use this small key to open the door and get the small mug, and that's gonna end the level. Now, I don't know how the rating system works, because I've gotten 3 hats basically every time I played this game, so I'm a literal god gamer. So now this is up with a fish. Basically, I'm just gonna catch all this stuff that's falling, and hope that it falls fast. We're actually doing pretty well here. Yeah, that was actually really good. This minigame could go from like 22 seconds, as you saw there, to like around 31, 32. So that was actually pretty decent. Alright, so this is the second stage. I gotta be a bit careful here because I can actually get stuck in that stool right there if I enter that door at the wrong point. So we're gonna destroy that curtain because I need that at the end of the level. We're gonna use the chair to go up to the attic. Let's see if I can get this first try. Looks like I'm on par. All right. That is actually harder than it looks. It doesn't. Your perspective isn't really great in terms of like what you can and can't like walk through, and most of the time I do that, I get stuck on the dresser in the back. So we're gonna pick up some paper towels that we need, and then we're gonna dry off these brushes because we need those. Pick up this stick that's in the potted plant, going to use the red key on this door, do the glitch to get halfway through this room, use the paper rolls on the fan, grab the stick, because I need that. Open up this closet, because there's jacks in here, and I need those. And then we're going to go see the boy character. I think his name is Conrad. Yeah, we're going to go see Conrad and give him the elastic from the suspenders. And he's just going to town on his slingshot. Just, Conrad's got some really glorious, like, animation throughout this game, and that's one of them. The next one is in the next and final level that we go to. Just gonna finish out the level here by doing the glitch again, giving the band to Sally, and putting the curtain on the paper towels. So next, I'm gonna have to put the things in the box. You know, they're pretty fast. They're kind of slippery. They can, you know, get out of my hands pretty quickly. You know, all that stuff, and they're in the box.
Baited.
All right. Yeah. So that's actually my favorite mini game throughout the entire game. Mainly because it's fast, and also, yeah, that's actually it, because it's fast. So this level is a little bit more convoluted with the route that I take. I'm going to grab the rusty saw in the first room, and then we're going to use this sanding stone to get the rust off of the saw. We're going to go into this room, grab the gloves, grab the wheel off of the wall over here, and then we're going to use the saw to cut off the shovel stick, and then we're going to grab the steering wheel from that toy car, and then we're going to do the glitch once again towards the bottom of the door, because if I do it at the top, it'll get me stuck in the dressers in the back. We're going to pick up a couple of tools here, and then we're going to look at the best 2 frames of animation in the entire game. Look at him go. Yeehaw! All right. So, because we did the glitch, we spawn at, like, the beginning of the level. I still don't know how that works. Now we're going to go back into the first room and clean up around here. We're going to grab this flashlight because we're going to need it. Use the jack on the car, and then use the wheel thing on the car to get an item that we need. Then we're going to give Sally the screwdriver. She gives us an item. And then I'm going to go into this room, do the glitch, because I have to be on this side of the room. And yeah, that was cool. So we're going to use the final key to open up this door, and use the flashlight to find the light switch, turn on the lights. We're going to turn off the water, grab this pipe here, and then we're going to finish off the level by putting the wet gloves into the washing machine. All right, and with that, we have come to the final and longest minigame throughout the entire game. This is basically one giant auto-scroller. We're going to clean up after ourselves because, you know, the kids' mom's coming home. We don't want them to get in trouble. So I gotta really focus here because items can actually blend in with the background. Usually the red stick will blend in with the carpet, and the yellow bow that I got would usually blend in with the wall because, you know, they're kind of the same color. You know, other than that, that's pretty much Cat in the Hat. Once I get the next 12 items, all right. I missed that one, so that could be a big time loss. It could be a small time loss. I believe this whole level is RNG. And you know, we all love our RNG as speedrunners. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. Once I get 5 more items, we're gonna end the run. All right, 3, 2, coming up, 1, and time. And not time, because I missed that cup. Oh, man. And time. There we go. Yay! Alrighty.
Oh man, that's psych out at the end. Okay.
So that was a speed run. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. I definitely enjoyed showing it off. I love showing off this game. Ever since I decided to buy it at East Starland by the hotel in Virginia, I was hooked on this game and I just had to run it. And then a glitch was found and I had to run it again, and you know how it goes. All right. But I don't really got anything else to say. If you got any questions or
just thank you so much for being here and running this game.
Thank you for having me.
I knew the second I saw it, it was perfect for exactly this show. So I'm glad that I finally got to have it on as a part of this little kids show theme. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And for everybody out there, we are going to take another little break. So go ahead and get something to drink. Maybe it's milk, and maybe you actually grab it instead of missing it twice like Mildew did at the end there. But if you grab your milk, then come on back. We'll see you here in a few moments for our next run. All right, and welcome back to Awfully Silly, the Silly Kids Show edition. This next game, I'm particularly excited about because it fits right in that niche, but it's like such a niche, entertaining game that you might have played it, you might not, you might remember it, you might not. But I'm excited to get into it. Before we do so, as well, we want to remind you, of course, that the Games Done Quick Highlights channel exists, and it is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ Hotfix shows. And if you're interested in checking out that channel and the excellent videos that it holds, use !highlights in chat to learn more about that. And I highly suggest doing so because those videos are wonderful. But for now, we're going to continue right along with the theme, and we have a very special game here. This is going to be 2005's Spy vs. Spy game for the original Xbox, and it's run by none other than Craigle. So Craigle, thanks for joining us, and it's all yours. Take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so yeah, as you said, 2005 for the PS2 and the Xbox. It's a rather niche game. It's that game you played as a kid that you end up hearing it again. You're like, yes, I heard about that game. Or I played that game with my friends. We're going to be doing the story mode here on easy mode because that's a lot faster due to bosses. 8 levels. Timer starts when I press A on mansion. So timer starts on go. We'll go 3, 2, 1, and go.
Best of luck.
All right. Thank you. So feel free to chime in if you've got any questions. I will talk a lot at some points, and I'll probably forget about things at another time. So feel free to join in.
Absolutely, I'm good at that.
So firstly here, we're just gonna get some coins, because this is only one of 2 levels that really needs a coin route. We're gonna get our main weapon of choice, a slingshot, which has unlimited ammo. You'll see here that you'll see throughout the run I'll be jumping everywhere, because you move faster in midair, so... movement tech, hell yeah. Yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to skip having to... that was... Okay, I always fail in my marathon runs. We're going to extend our jumps here. If you can actually jump a little bit after walking off an edge, so we're going to use that to our advantage. Just skip having to under first person mode, or first person mode to hit these targets. But we do it for that last one because the jump's a little bit too tight, and it's a lot safer to target it and barely slower. Alright, so this is the first part of RNG in the run. We've got 4 safes to open. The thing we're looking for is going to be in one of these 4 safes. Mansions like the heaviest RNG level. We've got third try. There's 2 lots of safes like that, and that's the only times in the entire run that it's like a 1 in 4 chance, if I remember correctly. You're going to be hearing a lot of slingshot noises throughout the run. It's our main weapon of choice, and with the fact that we can shoot it rather fast, it does a lot of damage. Very surprisingly, though, in the multiplayer game mode, it's actually not a strong weapon. Your weapon of choice is machine gun, which is actually not great in this game mode because A, ammo, and B, it just doesn't do damage. Also, the first 2 levels here, Mansion, which we're playing, and Cookie Carnival, which will be next, the 2 longest levels at just over 5 minutes. I've got a little puzzle here that we have to do. Is it 1 puzzle per level? Longest cutscene in the game, or period of non-doing anything. But yeah, these first 2 levels are the longest, and then it ramps up in the middle and slows down a little bit towards the end. But this first level's not fun to reset to because it's just you're just waiting for RNG to work out. But so I need to use an acid bucket on that door as a way to say obviously death abuse to get back to the base. Buy some things for the story. So most of the time, if we're buying something, we're buying it for story purposes to progress the checkpoints and stuff. Also in each level there's 4 challenges. This is a challenge. It's one of the easiest ones, but you'll see 4 like that. We're putting the boxing gloves in these safes. I'm going to try to do a safe opening and cancellation like that by hitting both triggers within 2 frames or something of each other. It only saves time if you do it either for 2 or 4. We're gonna do this. We're gonna zoom across the room just after coming out of that cutscene. Death abuse. Don't ask me how that works. It just does.
That's kind of tricks.
Yeah, pretty much. I think the game thinks you're still next to the safes after the cutscenes, so you can just open the safe just after. Fourth and final challenge in Mansion. This used to be one of the hardest ones, actually, in my opinion. When you're playing as a kid, you just end up dying here so much, but with the same cycle I catch every time, you just know it. Sticking a lot of safes here to find the secret plans. So, secret plans are a common occurrence in pretty much the first 4 or 5 missions. You get secret plans. Oh, it's in here. You can just see above that safe that there's a white little bit above the safe. And now we're on to the first boss. So every level has a boss. A couple of them, I think, one we can skip. And here, first we're just gonna get up here. Gonna get machine gun to pop the holes in the blimp. Get the aristocrat, I believe he is, out of the blimp. And this is how most of the bosses go. You just shoot them down. Get their health down. Health in the bottom left corner. And it's Mansion. Second level. This one's quite a lot. It's a very expansive level, but it is quite a lot of fun. Really get to introduces you into the really wacky characters cards. The game's, I think, really well suited to the genre. It's got really wacky sound effects, really cartoony visuals. I just love it. I'm gonna have to focus here. This is probably the hardest part of the run. Is obviously a memory game. I cannot remember what. Oh no, that's not right. Ice cream there. Okay. There we go. Okay. Under pressure, that's not that fun. You get a good run out of Mansion, and you can end up dying to that if you just get bad RNG. Sometimes you'll get matches automatic, like you just flip 2 over and then you get the match. But that's very unlikely. The IL speedrun, I think, gets like 4 matches where they're just instantaneous like that, so it's very hard to beat. So we've got a cooking maze, which you catch, once again catch the same cycle, so you can just skip straight through it. The art of knowing the game off by heart. Good fun.
Yep, the grind. The grind keeps you familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Cat is showing Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
no,
yes.
this is more. Yours is more important. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, the whole reason we did that matching game was to get a wrench so that we could like unlock this safely. I'm really looking for a way to get that wrench without having to do that, because if I can do that mini game, I just love that, but no success. What are you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that chat is showing a lot of love for not only this game, but the NES version of Spy vs. Spy. I wasn't sure if you knew anything about it or anything like that.
Yes, I actually found it online for a decent price, so I ended up buying it. I don't have any SNES, never played it. I have seen gameplay of it. There is a game mode in this game that is based off that version. It's like a 3D version of the NES of the NES game Spy vs. Spy. Yes, a lot of people. If you're more of a retro gamer and you love the Spy vs. Spy series, you'll know that game more than this one. But this was more my era of things, I'd say. Played this a lot as a kid. Not the story mode, more the multiplayer mode with my friends. We used to play the maps so many times. So this game has a lot of nostalgia for me. That's the first time we were facing White Spy, I think. We don't. Most of the time we verse White Spy, we just destroy him in 4 slingshot shots. So it's not really that much Spy vs. Spy in story mode. It's more Spy versus the general, who you'll see later. Oh, okay. So here we're gonna skip needing to turn this like fairground right on by extending our jump again. That's much more of a tighter jump to make. That's like one of the first, I think, decent skips that was found. But it gets a lot. It gets a lot more. A lot. I mean, skip starts getting a lot more time later on. So we'll get to that when we get there. Right, this purple glowy stuff gives me double damage. We don't get to keep it for long. It's just useful to kill the monkeys that were in the center area. These guys do quite a bit of damage, but we do have quite a bit of health to work with, and there's a bunch of health packs I can get if I need. Yes, there's a reasonable amount of health management in certain places. Some enemies do, especially bosses, do a lot of damage, so you have to be careful in some places. Never really liked this challenge as a kid. The laughs and all that were just very creepy. The teeth looking very realistic. I'm gonna grab the bazooka here. There's 3 like good weapons in this game for story mode, apart from the slingshot, that we use especially like for bosses. Bazooka, which we got here. We've got the flamethrower, which you'll see in the next level, and we got bombs, which you'll see in the 7th level. All right, Robot Factory. So yeah, we got secret plans once again in that last level. We're gonna get some more secret plans in this. These secret plans are for, like, I think they're the secret plans for the Doomsday device. So we're getting plans for Doomsday device, figuring out where the general is, and then going from there. Here we just have to route killing robots. If we don't have to, we usually have to kill the entire wave before the next wave spawns, but if you kill the one we need, which is the red helmet ones, and then go back into your base, the next wave spawns in instead. We'll just spawn straight away. We need the 4 gears to make this little robot guy that we're going to have around for us for the next minute. We're supposed to turn these cranes on, so these cranes are supposed to be moving, but with an extended jump, we can just skip straight to the last crane and skip the entire challenge. We're going to use the dynamite we bought, or first we're going to use the wrench that we bought to open the safe safely. We're going to use the dynamite we bought to death abuse back to our base, and we're going to keep going back on the story mode. We need 260 coins for the final boss, because we're going to buy some weaponry that's very strong and kills the boss very fast. We got another maze puzzle here. The cycles are the same once again. This game, I should really mention, also has a killer soundtrack. Most of the songs, I think, come from Combustible Edison, which is a great band that has some very classical music. It's just so good. Alright, so what I just did there was what's called a high jump, by stopping moving and then and then jumping just after starting to move again. For some reason we get extra height out of it, maybe because it, puts your momentum into your forwards momentum into upwards instead. I don't know, but it does, and that's going to be very useful to allow us to do some skips later on. It's going to become essential to do some skips later on. That was a great find, being able to do that. Alright, so we're clicking 4 routers here, so we can use them on a puzzle at the end to reroute the robots to face White Spy. Oh yeah, we also fought White Spy just a bit earlier, but once again I kind of killed him off screen because it's just there's a lot of camera movement, a lot of camera management in this game. So you gotta cut the corners tighter and all sorts. Okay, I didn't die. There we go. We've rerouted the robots to Ted White Spy, and now we're onto the boss. We skip a lot of the story by skipping cutscenes, but I do recommend if you want to play this game, the cutscenes are actually a great addition to the game. So this boss has 3 waves, one with the machine gun, one with the flamethrower, and one with the bazooka. For some reason, the flamethrower does a lot of damage. It just, to robots. It does a lot of damage to robots. So, it just completely melts them. Maybe because they're made of metal? I don't know. But that boss was done. With the use of the dynamite and the proximity mines, they die very quickly. And the flamethrower, so... Alright, so now we come up to the first big skip of the game, which saves about 4 minutes. So firstly, we're going to use the robots, their hitboxes, to get up to this platform up here. And we're going to go through what's supposed to have hitbox, but for some reason this wall doesn't. And then we're going to use a high jump to inside this item to... Okay, please. Thank you. And I'm going to use that to get up to the levels. So usually it takes about 4 minutes to get up here. You have to do a whole bunch of other things around this map, but instead we can skip straight up, and now there's an invisible wall here, but luckily we can just jump around it. That's a crucial part of the skip. If we couldn't do that, we wouldn't be able to do anything. And we now get the secret plans, and we're straight to the boss already. But this boss is the longest boss in the game. It's got 2 phases, and this first phase takes forever. We've got to down the helicopter, and it's got a lot of health. So we're going to just use a slingshot on our way down to get the bazooka, which again does a lot of damage. Just telling the bazooka is right down the bottom, so we have to make our way down, collect it, and then start doing the work. But this is another bit of RNG, or the targeting system in this game works that it's very good actually. It actually aims in front of where the person's going, so if the person's moving in a certain direction, it will aim towards them. Problem is the helicopter moves all over the place, so the bazooka can target towards it or in front of it, and it will miss or won't miss. It's very, very random. If you run out of ammo on the bazooka, that means you kind of got bad. You got unlucky. So I ran out of ammo there, but I didn't have to do too much work with the slingshot. The second part, you just shoot with the slingshot. Alright, so go back to the spooky theme. Haunted
yes.
house. Yeah. Sadly, the spooky theme will be done and dusted in less than a minute. So enjoy it while it lasts. You know, some skeletons, some spooky stuff. Got an evil scientist as the final boss. We're going to do a high jump here, a high jump here, a high... Oh, I missed it. A high jump here, a high jump here. A high jump onto... No, okay. I haven't failed this in a while, actually. Okay, high jump here, now we're out of bounds. Land on the brick, out of bounds. Jump to a stairwell, that leads to the final boss. There we go. Okay. This guy is the first guy we don't actually have to do damage. We don't do damage to manually. We pull levers when he's in the green goo. This is also RNG. We got perfect RNG. Where he stops is random. So if he could stop in the first one he comes to, we could keep going around and So we got very lucky. That's incredibly lucky. But it was a bad start to the level, but that's okay. Okay, and this is the third big skip of the run. It saves once again a lot of time. This is the general's volcano lair. So this is where the general's hold up in just where he's managing his business. We're gonna get that crank wheel because we need to open a door. So these big lava tube things, we have to use the crank wheels on them. So this opens up the door that allows us to get to the area we want to get to do the big skip. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this door from the inside, so we can use it as a platform to skip up on top of the building. Allows us to get out of bounds. I'm going to climb them out. We're going to climb the volcano. This lava doesn't have a hitbox. Don't worry about it. We're just going to walk right through it. It really doesn't matter.
Harmless.
Harmless. I know. Like, what? Just burning myself alive? Nah, it's okay. We're going to jump onto the outside of the volcano, jump inbounds, and we're in the final room of the game, and we're going to hit the end trigger from behind. So this is like, oh, where is it? Here it is. Don't have to fight the boss. We can just skip straight into the level. And now we realize the general's got a space station, so we have to go to Area 51 to get a UFO to fly to the space station. Although this is 100% what Area 51 looks like. Don't need to raid the Area 51. There are aliens here confirmed. So this level is like the hardest level by far. It's got a very strict coin route. Coins also are kind of random where they go when you kill an enemy. So when you're up on top of these like walkways, they can fall off and you can lose some coins. 80's perfectly fine. This is all story stuff, blowing up the satellite, destroying some spotlights so we can progress to the next area. Oh. This level used to be the longest until recently this year, where I just amazingly finally this was the level that was like, you know, that the meme was like, haha, Area 51 skip, yes, we'll finally find one, and then I ended up finding one finally in 2022. So it was very, very epic, because this level was very long. It was 7 minutes, so it was just over 6 minutes, but it was just very long. And now it was also very hard, but now it's short but still hard, but you know. No death abuse there. We have a battery in our hand. That I think some of that was actually not good. It was not good. All right, I messed it up there big time with my menuing. We're gonna have to go get some more coins because we need to buy 4 boxing gloves. We don't talking about the battery anyway. This battery we're not supposed to have in our hand, but since we died with like the same frame, like the frame after picking it up. Oh, I forgot a white spy here. Okay, this is the strongest white spy we have to verse. He's quite dangerous, but He surprisingly didn't do that much damage to me, actually. He would usually destroy me there. I'm surprised. Alright, I'll get another one of these. Alright, so we use these proximity mines to do death abuse, so the game thinks we're back at our base, but the cutscene that we jump into places us back downstairs. So that means the game loads in upstairs and unloads downstairs. So it allows us to do a big skip. Very precise placement. Yeah, we died entering. It's a very limited number of frames you have to work with there. You have to die after triggering the cutscene, but it's again a very small window, very small window. But what that allows us to do is skips a light puzzle that we have to do, but which unlocks force fields in front of doors. The main thing is we skip the force fields, which comes into play a lot more because it allows us to skip an entire hallways, or one entire hallway so we don't have to go down. I'm lost. We don't have to go down one of the hallways, so we can skip one entire challenge. Sadly, we can't skip all two of them because we need this key here to go down the third one. If we didn't need the key, we could skip this challenge entirely. But what is it? Yeah, yes, that. So it allows us to skip one path, which is it saves about a minute and a half, I'd say. Do this again. Cool. We got both of them. So again, this allows it. So we're going to skip straight to the third hallway. So also what I'm wearing right now is armor. It allows me to be invincible. So it's quite nice to pick it up for this last area, just in case. Because if you die, it can be a little bit of a problem because you lose a lot of time having to re-enter. This is probably the most fun mini game that's in these levels. It also loses the most time if you mess it up. If you miss a shot, it actually loses more time than you think because the next one doesn't spawn. So for some reason these aliens have hitboxes like around where their lights are, but if you just jump on top of them, they don't notice you. So apparently they don't have the ability to feel things, but they can see them pretty well. Alright, so we've got the disguise. We need to enter the UFO area. Gonna buy some bombs. This is the utilization of bombs, which we'll use to destroy the two bosses up here. He dies very quickly. Oh, nice. So he didn't move, which allowed us to use the two bombs on him as we're still using the flamethrower that we picked up. Which is very fast. Alright, final level. So we're now in the space station. General has a doomsday device that we have to try stop. We have to stop him from using. Got my favourite soundtrack in this game, in this level. I absolutely adore it.
I have a question for you here, if that's all right. I don't know if you're about to explain something.
No, you can go ahead.
Sounds good. So I see obviously you're playing as the Black Spy. We've talked about the White Spy a lot. Do you have the ability to play as whichever spy you're choosing? And if so, is there a difference?
There's no difference, just cosmetic. The reason why I choose Black Spy is because when it comes to versing White Spy, when you have to face the other spy, it's a lot easier to see White Spy in the darker levels than it is to see Black Spies. So it's purely just visual stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but there's a little bit of a rivalry in the community of who's the best and stuff. You know, again, there's no difference in the speedrun. I should probably explain what I just did there. So just like an oil rig, there was another wall that just didn't have a hitbox that I was able to reach by jumping on the asteroid. And they said about a minute. It just skips us having to go around, I guess. And also what I did is I had to hit those green blobs, but they're invisible. But I loaded in the hitbox, but I know where they are on the map. I know where they are, but you just can't. You have to wait. You just have to hope you hit them, because they're moving up and down. So you have to hope you have the right cycle when you fire your slingshot. So you're just spamming and hoping that it hits. Whack-a-mole get minigame. I think it's the final minigame of the game. Also, since we did that skip where we clicked back in bounds from outer space, we actually get to keep this cool astronaut's helmet that we have, rather than having to wear the normal hat. So it's a nice little like Easter egg for the end of the run. You're not supposed to have this, but since we did the skip, it allows us to wear this, what I think is a pretty cool helmet. So we get destroying these green blobs to get 3 batteries, which we'll use to destroy some force fields later down the line. Not much later, actually. We're coming up very close to the end of the run. Alright, so we're supposed to face White Spy here, but we can just ignore him. He shoots us with a machine gun, but he doesn't do that much damage. Just goodbye, White Spy. We don't get to see White Spy anymore. We'll see him in the final cutscene, but he's fine. He's totally, trust me, he's totally fine. He's definitely not dead or anything. He'll be fine.
Oh, I believe you.
Yeah. you should believe me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally not being deceptive as being as Black Spy versus White Spy. No, he's very much alive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it in the final cutscene. You'll see him clearly breathing. Clearly. All right, final boss. So phase 1, we have to pull some levers to turn off the Doomsday device, which are those green crystals. Very, very scary, very dangerous. We're going to use the extended jump to skip having to walk around the outside. Okay, so second phase, we just hit him with the bazooka. Time ends when the screen goes to black after the last hit. So. Time ends in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. And that's Spy vs. Spy 2005 for the console. So we defeated General here. It's like he's taunting me for some reason, even though I've clearly won. He got completely destroyed by that bazooka. Oh no, what's going on? Yeah, also mentioned
peace out.
Right, yeah, that's like
yeah.
Yeah, there he is. Look, White Spy's breathing. Yeah, he's totally alive. Yeah.
Is he breathing though in space? That's the question.
He's totally breathing. It's fine. Now, the reason why he's after you kill him in space station, there's meant to be a cutscene which shows him getting sucked out into space, but yeah. And that's him. General is rest in pieces, and he gets through the whee. There we go. Classic. Anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the final cutscene done. Yeah. If anyone wants to, I recommend playing this game if you have played it when you were younger. A great game. Speedrun, if you want to know anything about speedrun, you can come to me. I'm on Discord, or you can contact me on Twitch or YouTube or anything else. Yeah. It's been really fun. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the co-commentary Conception. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and thank you for joining us. Yeah, this game.
Oh yes.
I could tell it's super duper fun. So yeah, go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's it for me, I think. I'll shout out to Zando Toaster, who was like one of the bigger strat hunters in this game. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, terrific. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us. For everyone there at waiting, we have a couple more games left for the evening, believe it or not. I know we've played so many already, but go ahead. We're going to have a little break here, so go ahead, defeat the spy that's in your house, and we'll see you back here in just a few minutes after a nice little wellness break. All right, and welcome back to our penultimate run of this episode of Awfully Silly, based on kids shows and movies. Before we jump into it, because I'm very excited about this one, before we jump into it, just want to remind everyone, of course, that you're going to want to stay tuned after this show for That's Never Happened Before, which is a show that features breakdowns of glitches in speedruns. And today they're going to be focusing on Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door, one of my all-time favorites. So you're definitely going to want to stick around. And also tomorrow, we will be having Random Number Generation, which is a show that features randomizers and randomizer adjacent content, followed by Aimbot, a show that features FPS and shooter-based speedruns. Both of those you're definitely going to want to check out, so come on back here tomorrow evening. But just as I said, we have 2 more runs left of the show. This next one I've been very excited about is going to be Powerpuff Girls Chemical Extraction, and it's the 100% category despite it being only 10 minutes, and it's going to be run by Steve Zero. So Steve, hope you're doing well, and go ahead and take it away.
Extraction for the N64. It's one of the probably latest stage N64 games, coming out in 2001. It's a wild time. It's basically a kind of jank Power Stone clone. If anyone knows what Power Stone was for the Dreamcast. But yeah, let's get into it. Timer will start once I press the A button for Blossom. So I'll just give it a little countdown, and timer will start on go. So 3, 2, 1, go. All right, thank you. So basically, this game is, like I said, like Power Stone, kind of like a 3D arena beat 'em up. Now, usually, as anyone knows in beat 'em ups, see, we already did the first level. That was Big Billy. You want to beat up everybody and yada yada yada. Well, it's a very jank time. And over the years, there was a kind of weird thing we found. This is Sedusa. She's, again, it's the same thing every time. Basically, what you're doing is you're mashing Z to fly, and there's a glitch in the game. I'm guessing it's a glitch, maybe a misstep, that if you mash A and B at the same time, you can like do a ground pound attack that's super like OP like that. See how I'm just smashing and just wrecking her health? And that was Princess, and she's done. So basically, for every ball, every character, you do that. Now, the story for this game is basically that I believe it's Bubbles was trying to make a... Now, this is Fuzzy Lumpkins, one of my favorite bad guys from the original cartoon. Because my favorite Powerpuff Girl is Bubbles. I go with Bubbles. Now, sometimes Fuzzy Lumpkins can do this, where he starts to stun lock you, and you just gotta keep mashing, and eventually you'll overpower him. Because even though he's still technically wrecking you, you're just still doing this ridiculous amount of damage output. Like, look, like even now that he's still doing that, I'm still hitting the damage. And there's a lot of RNG as well. This level itself is probably the highest RNG level. And the reason I'm being a little vague about things, you'll see when we get to Bubbles, because I can give more involved with it later as well. So here's Mojo Jojo. Now technically, this is the last boss of a Blossom, Bubbles, or Buttercup run. The category itself has 3 character runs and the 100% run, which technically, if Mojo Jojo is spamming, that's the end of the Blossom 100% run, where you just beat all Blossom stages. But now we move on to my favorite Powerpuff Girl, Bubbles. And basically, you do the same thing 2 more times with Bubbles, Buttercup, and then Blossom. Now, thankfully, there are differences in the characters' builds. Technically, I think. We don't really know, we think. I believe Bubbles, is faster, I think, or has like more things faster, and Buttercup has a different feel. There's little differences, but essentially you're basically doing the same thing. You're mashing Z, and you're getting sunlocked like that, because it'll just happen sometimes, and you're gone. Now, the story for this game, like I was getting to a minute ago, is that Bubbles was making a pie with, I believe, Chemical X in it, which is the thing that made the sugar, or was it sugar, spice, everything nice, and then Chemical X. So she's making a pie, and then Mojo Jojo comes and steals the Chemical X, gives it to all the villains, and then you have to basically fight them to get the Chemical X back. Which is, it's a great Powerpuff Girls story. Now, here's one of the big problems with this level, with getting fuzzy, is again, like I said, stun locks. Also, you want to stay away from that fire pit, because that fire pit will hit you for a lot of damage, and then it will stun lock you into the ground. It's pretty annoying when you're speedrunning, because you think you just did a really good thing with hitting him just as hard as you can, but then you get hit, and half your damage is probably gone. Half your life is probably gone immediately, basically. And I forgot to also say, when you get to level with bubbles, there's a weird glitch that once you beat Fuzzy Lumpkins, the game auto resets to you playing as Blossom for some weird reason, and says, nah, you gotta go and switch back to Bubbles. I don't know why. It's a very weird thing. But then, again, that Bubbles, we're back to Mojo Jojo, and this is where, once this fight is done, you would get to ending Bubbles of percent. And, let's see here. Boom, we would be done with Bubbles. Now, one cool thing I'll explain also about the level design and how the speedrun works, other than just the mash, because the mash is the biggest part. Just mashing Z and B and A at the same time to try to get this crazy damage output. But if you notice in the first, all these levels, I'm going for a specific weapon. Buttercup is probably the best actual girl here, by the way. She is Rex. But if you can hit enemies with the weapons in the actual arena, that does a lot of damage. Let's look at hit, missed. But you can do lots of damage by just kind of shoving like weapons. Like that one's like a bank teller line starts here thing. It's great. Classic kids cartoon stuff. And then we go back to, I believe, Princess next. I mean, yeah. It's the same kind of thing over and over again, which is why I think it's kind of funny to think we would have been, this would have been brand new in 2001, so this would have been like basically stretching into the PS2 lifespan. And hey, I love it. I think it's a very cool experience, because it's kind of a flat, especially nowadays looking back at it, you're like, oh, it's kind of jank, but it's still relatively fun. I think it's a really cool little speedrun. And then here's another weird thing again, like I said, with Bubbles going back, does it again after Fuzzy Lumpkins. You go back to Ace, the leader of the something. It's like a little, like the street gang, whatever that Big Billy's a part of.
Gang Green, I believe.
Yeah, Gang Green. I love that. I was such a big Powerpuff Girls fan when I was a kid. One of my favorite shows when I was younger. And then again, does the same thing again. We go into Mojo Jojo. And then finally, we're gonna get to the twist in a second. See, look how I just shoved that like phonograph straight into Mojo Jojo. It did like half his damage. Boom. All right, so we've beaten Mojo Jojo. Cool, right? We got all the chemical X, all that good stuff. No, we're not done yet. Him is here. Him got the chemical X and is saying, we're going to kill the Powerpuff Girls. And you say, well, I have the strats. And tell him no. And it's time. And that's the Powerpuff Girls chemical extraction. Very short speed run. Sub 7, sub 8 usually is pretty good. What did I get, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
Yep, just letting that timer catch up. Looks like a 6:46 on our end.
Ooh, that's only 20 seconds over my PB. So yeah, that's like it's a very, as long as you don't have carpal tunnel, it can be a pretty fun to do speed run. I only do a few of them if I can, just because it's kind of rough to just literally be mashing for 5 minutes straight, basically. But it's a very fun game. If you have any questions, I do know a lot about this. Kefka, who's also a GDQ speedrunner, he helped to kind of pioneer what we've done, because we push each other pretty hard back and forth to see who could get a better time, and he lucked out on that, or not lucked out, he pushed himself harder to get that, so he got like a 540 something, I think, which is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, dude puts in work. But it's a very fun speedrun. If you have any questions, we allow emulator as well. It has its own category, and a PS1 as well. So if you have any questions, hit me up. And that's all I got. I just want to thank you all for having me, and looking forward to the next run.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks, Steve, so much for being here and showing off this game. It's one I've had on my radar for a while to add onto Awfully Silly. So I'm glad we finally found a place for it, and you did it justice for sure. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we've come to that time. We have one last run by a runner I really look up to and have wanted to feature on the show for quite some time. So we're gonna take one last little break here. Go ahead, grab your water, grab your Chemical X, and we will see you here in a few minutes. All right, and welcome back to Awfully Silly, the finale run, and we have a very special guest here for our final run. Conception, how are you? Well, I'm doing good. How are you? Oh, well, I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. So why Cartoon Summer Resort? Well, it's a pretty great game, and I think more people should play it for sure. You know, I agree, and I think it's about time we show it off. I just want to remind everyone, of course, though, that your subs, your gift subs, your Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support this weekly hotfix content, like me talking to myself. So please consider supporting our daily content, which starts at most days at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. And don't forget, if you're watching on YouTube, you can come on over to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content. So come on over. But yeah, I think it's about time. I'm going to throw it to Conception. Go ahead and take it away, Conception. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, my name is Conception. You might have seen me. I run my own show here on the Games Done Quick channel from time to time, and this game is called Cartoon Summer Resort. Now, if you're not familiar with what this game is, it is a Flash Shockwave game from the year 2000 that was featured on the Cartoon Network's website. So it is a website game. Luckily for us, it's been preserved. And I'll go into a little bit about what that means in a few minutes. But for now, we're going to get started. Now, two things before we do this, actually. I almost forgot. One, if you're not hearing audio, that is fine. This game is, because it's a Flash Shockwave game, does not function like a lot of other games. So I cannot split the audio. So it was either I have every piece of audio from my computer or none. So we're going to go with none. But you're not missing anything because all it does is play the same song on loop. So don't worry about that. And two, this game has 4 levels. Each time we go into the next level, the screen is going to come off for about a second, and then it'll come back on. But don't worry, that is intended, I guess. Without further ado, let's get started. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So Cartoon Summer Resort. What is it? So as I mentioned, a website game from the Cartoon Network website, but the goal is we're going to play as all these different abstract characters from Cartoon Network at that time, all of which I don't know, they might have either been created for the game or they were created that summer as like little mini mascots, but you're going to see all over these games a lot of Cartoon Network characters from that time, especially some Powerpuff Girls characters we just saw featured in Chemical Extraction right before this. So what's our goal? Actually, we got some good RNG there. We have to collect chicken from Cow and Chicken, and he could be anywhere in that top part of the screen, but he was in a pretty favorable location, so thanks, Chicken. But what do? So we are on a summer resort. Basically, the premise is, all these cartoon characters, they're taking the summer off. They're getting a nice little break, right? But, of course, it wouldn't be a cartoon resort unless there were some hijinks abound, and essentially each episode of this game has a solve an issue that's happening on the island. So, for example, this first level is our pool's down. We got to fix the pool. So we gotta talk to all these characters and do some quick trading and stuff like that in order to get all of the tools that we need to fix the pool. So what do we need? We need a wrench, of course. We also are going to need 5 different things to plug the various holes in the pipes. In that way, the pool pump will work, and then we can all enjoy some nice pool time. All right. Oops, a little too far there. I wish you could hear it. So the sound, it's the same looping song all over again, so you're not missing much there. But whenever you bonk in this game, like if you hit a wall, you really bonk, and you really feel it because it's super loud. It's like a comically large bonk. So I'll try to sound them out whenever they happen so that you don't miss out on that experience. But we're already almost getting through episode 1 here. Here is one of the biggest points of RNG in the entire run, which is called ducks, because they're ducks. Really good RNG, though. We need to slide in here, and we can get out pretty quickly. So that was actually pretty good. Not too bad. But basically, the ducks can just be in your way, blocking you from getting that wrench. But here we are, and episode 1 is going to be ending here now. Oop, almost missed that last click. All right, so the screen will disappear as soon as we see the clear screen. Disappear for a second, but it should come right back on. Don't worry about that. And here we are in episode 2. We're playing as somebody named Longhair. The first character we played out was somebody named Uncle Gus. I think I remember vaguely at the time that there was like, I don't know, like little in-between show kind of shorts that come on Cartoon Network that kind of featured these characters that you play as. But I don't exactly remember. It was a long time ago. I may look young, but I am indeed at least a little bit old. So that is just how it goes. But here we are in episode 2. Now, episode 2 is called Tennis Menace. What happens is our good pal Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory built a tennis robot for people to use on the resort so that they can play tennis against a robot. You know, it's kind of like it serves the balls at you and stuff. But as you might imagine, it got a little bit out of hand, and now the tennis robot is wreaking havoc, and we got to fix that. So we're going to be doing that, and you'll notice that it's very similar into what we have to do in episode 1, which is we need something that gets us in there, and then we need 5 things to circumvent the problem. That's kind of the general format of each episode. Now, that being said, I'll get into it a little bit, but episode 3, we're not going to play quite as intended. You might think this is a silly website game, but I promise you, it's got at least one glitch. So you'll have to look forward to that. All I'm doing here, by the way, is I'm skipping all of their dialogue and just getting what I need to do, the fastest possible items that I can use to solve the issue. Now, each level usually will provide multiple items that you can use to solve the issue. So it's all about trying to solve it in a way that's, as fast as possible. So it's all in the optimized routing. Little bonk there. Bonk, bonk. This is Johnny Bravo's house, and what does he have? A fake mustache, because of course he does. All right, can't get down there. All right, so we're about halfway through episode 2. Episode 2 has another unfortunate piece of RNG, which takes the form of crabs. We're going to get into that a little bit in a second here while we're getting the sunglasses. But basically what the crabs do is once we see the crabs, they each have their own individual warp point that if you touch a crab, it will warp you to that point. And obviously we do not want to hit a crab and warp away when we need to grab something in that area. So we're going to be doing our best to dodge the crabs. Now, it's actually decently easy to do because as long as you're not moving, a crab cannot hit you. But if we're trying to be a little bit speedy, we got to kind of combine those two things, right? So we're gonna be playing it a little close to the chest, but not that close. All right, we're good. Now there's still one more crab dodge, but that was pretty good. Not too bad for the crabs. And the reason why we want to take that crab warp specifically is it warps us right down here to where turnip is, which is the last object that we need. The second to last being a suit of armor, because we cannot go into the tennis courts getting pummeled by tennis balls without a little suit of armor, right? So all we have to do for episode 2 here is cross our way all the way to the tennis court. Unfortunately, we do need the turnip, but unfortunately, it is in the bottom right corner of the map, and the tennis court is in the top left. So we quite literally have to go as far as we possibly would need to in order to get to the tennis court. So that is the downside, but it's faster still than having to fight off the crabs, I think, because then you're leaving RNG in the hands of the game, and we don't want to do that. But here we are. We're going to be going up here, and here's Dexter. He's going to let us in now that he has a suit of armor. You can see him in there. All right, and that's the end of episode 2. Just need to wait for that clearance screen until we get to episode 3. Episode 3 is actually probably my favorite one to play casually. But it is the one that we do the most skipping in. So what you're meant to do is, this is called Vivian versus the Volcano. We're playing Vivian, who's a cat here. And what you're meant to do is we need to rescue a bunch of these animals from the volcano island, and you're meant to find characters on the island that pair well with those animals, and then give them the animals for them to look after. In addition to that, Courage the Cowardly Dog is also trapped inside the volcano. The volcano has 5 gates. that you need a key for each gate, the key of which is given to you by the animal when you find its proper pair. So little tricky. So we need to find these 5 keys, except we don't need to find any of them. And I'm going to show you exactly why right now. I think I'm a little far over. There we go. So if you just very carefully walk through the wall there, easy peasy, we can hit a warp point and skip through all 5 gates. And then it all just becomes circumventing this maze, which is actually harder than you think it is, considering how easy it is to bonk. And also how easy it is to hit portals through the wall that you're not intending. So a little bit harder than you might think, but not too bad. All right, waiting for the clear screen. All right, and episode 4. Now, episode 4 is called Disco Dilemma. Basically, what it is, it's the end of the year party, and it's going to be disco themed. Of course, it is. So we need to get out here and get everyone paired up so they can dance together on the disco. Again, a little easier said than done, but not too complex if you played this game once or twice. Now, I see some people in the chat wondering, how could we possibly, how could we play this game in today's environment, right? Because it was on the Cartoon Network website. How is it possible that we can still play this game? Well, luckily enough for us, there is a program. And the program is called Flashpoint. It was developed by somebody named Blue Maxima, and basically what it is a Flash and Shockwave games preservation program. So basically pulled coding from all these websites in order for them to be able to preserve these games so that they are not lost to the technology. Because as you might know or might not know, Shockwave and Flash Player are no longer supported in today's computers. So it's not like you could go on a website and play them. You don't have the ability to do that anymore. So we use Flashpoint, who saved the coding of this game and made it so, Buttercup, and made it so that we can now play these games again. Just go ahead and search Flashpoint. You should be able to find that pretty easy. Flashpoint by Blue Maxima is an easy way to do that. Episode 4 is is episode 4 the longest, or is episode 2? Either way, they're all pretty long, and episode 4 has a lot of moving parts because it's not only knowing, having to collect the 5 things like we had with every other level, but it's knowing where those 5 things have to go. It amps it up a little bit because you have to know, you can't just place anyone with any partner, basically. But what we're going to do is we're going to collect all these objects. And then we are going to pair them. There's a crab. There we go. We're fine. Every crab warps you, even in this level. So, and we're going to pair them with their proper mate, basically. So first we have to convince them all to go because none of them want to go. They're all scared, or for various reasons they don't want to go. So first we get a wig for courage so that he feels a little bit more confident in going. So that's 1. We needed 4 more. On our way down here, we're going to grab the mayor of Townsville's lunchbox, because who doesn't want a little lunch, midday siesta, right? So we're going to grab here, and then on our way down, we're actually going to talk to Chicken here as well. We can actually kind of grab him through the wall a little bit. So that's 2 of the 5 people we need. We need to grab 1 more supplementary item in the hotel here. From Big Red Guy. I always call him Big Red, but I don't think that's his name. It gives us some shoes that we need, some platform shoes. Head on over to the Mayor of Townsville, give him his lunch so that we can get his fancy leisure suit, and that we can give to IR Baboon. I hope these names are sparking a lot of memories for people in case they hadn't heard them in a long time. Names like IR Baboon, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, and Susie. All these old cartoons that kind of feel a little bit lost to time, but it's good to remember them from time and time again. So we get IR Baboon. That's number 3. We got two more gents we need to grab here. The last two gents are Ed from Ed, and Eddie, Double D specifically, if you're wondering, and Dexter from Dexter's Lab. Eustace, I believe is his name, from Cow and Chicken. Nope, not Cow and Chicken. Courage the Cowardly Dog gives us the shark tooth necklace that gives Double D his confidence to hit the dance floor. And we have one last person to grab here. And let's see who it's going to be. spoiler alert, I already said it, it's Dexter. He just needs some platform shoes to feel a little bit taller. And we're actually ramping up right to the end of the run here. So time is going to be coming up pretty soon. Oops. And it's so, the controls, it's so easy to get stuck on stuff like the info booth, and you just hit the same screen over and over again. Okay. So here we go. We just have to match properly, which again, it doesn't change. So it's not very hard to remember. And time is coming up. And time. There it is. Ooh, sub 13, at least on my end as well. So that's a pretty good run. So yeah, that was Cartoon Summer Resort. It's a fun game. It's such a nostalgic piece for a lot of people that I find. So if you're interested in running it, we don't have like a Discord server or anything. Weirdly, the community is not large. It's basically me and one or two other runners over time. But if you're interested and want to learn not only how to play this game still, but learn the speedruns and the strategies behind it, feel free to hit me up. My name is Conception. I've been your host for Awfully Silly, but you can find me twitch.tv/Conception, twitter.com/ConceptionSR. You can also find me on YouTube. But yeah, and you can also go to speedrun.com/CCSR to see all the records and strats. We have individual records for each level as well as all episodes, which is what we saw here. So pretty good. That for reference, that was on my end a 12:57 world record. Is about a little less than 20 seconds slower than that. So we did pretty good. No complaints on my end. But yeah, that is not only the end of this run, but it is the end of Awfully Silly. As quickly as it came, we are right back here at the end again. I want to thank everyone for watching. If you are interested in Awfully Silly, usually we are every 2 weeks on Mondays, 7 p.m. Eastern. However, if you're counting at home, next Monday that this show would be on, which would be, I believe, the 27th, we will not be doing an episode of Awfully Silly because Summer Games Done Quick 2022 will be airing instead. So feel free to come on over twitch.tv/Games Done Quick, right where you already are. And SGDQ will be June 26th to July 3rd. So feel free to come on by. Other than that, I think it's about time we wrap this show up, and stay tuned because right after this, we have That's Never Happened Before, a show that features glitch breakdowns, and they're going to be doing Paper Mario and the 1,000-Year Door today. So it's going to be really exciting. Everyone stick around. But yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see you after GDQ. Bye, everyone.